Hello and welcome to the first ever episode of MMA NL podcast. I'm your host, Andrew Tobin. Alright, for the first ever episode of this podcast, I'm just going to break it on down for you. This is uncut, unfiltered, no non-stop bullshit. Alright, we're just going to get into the MMA news and we're going to check out what's going on. Alright, so much stuff happened towards the end of May, it's absolutely ridiculous. So for the first episode, we're just going to try to get into that a little bit. Alright, Kevin Lee, he's the guy that a lot of people have been talking about lately. A lot of people have been saying that he was not prepared for that fight. How is he feeling? He had to move up weight class. He's fighting in a more natural weight. The weight cut wasn't so hard on him, yes, but how has he recovered from the staph infections? How has he recovered just in general? Is his body feeling it? We don't know. I thought he looked sluggish as hell. I thought by the time the first round ended, every time he shot for a takedown or just about like anything at all, it was just slow and sluggish and just not on point. All right, RDA just kind of just knew where to take it to him. You know what I mean? And I found Kevin Lee had a gust of strikes towards one of the ends of the rounds, and other than that, it was pretty much done for. All right, I had RDA in for that one for the win. As soon as you saw the conditioning of Kevin Lee within the first round, I heard Joe Rogan say the same thing. He just didn't look like the Kevin Lee that we've seen before. Even after the Kevin Lee that's went through horrendous weight cuts in the past, it still did not look through like the same guy. All right. So that's one thing I wanted to get at. And another guy on the opposite side of the cage that night, RDA. RDA outclassed him. He outclassed him in every way possible. He had a better ground game, and he just used his energy more efficiently. You could just see he was just more patient of a fighter that night. And afterwards, in the press conferences and in the interviews, RDA was asked, like, where does he feel that he's going to go from this point on? And he said that he wanted to be a champion, and if not a champion, a two-way champion. And I don't see that happening. I don't see that happening in any way possible. You look at the weight class that he's in right now. What's going on at welterweight? You've got Kamaru Usman, who does not look like he's going to be dethroned anytime soon. He hasn't even had his first title defense yet. But when he does, I think it's going to be a good showing. He was the first guy to really take it to Tyron Woodley, in my opinion. Tyron is a good wrestler all around. People say he's a boring fighter, but that's it. You got to pick your battles. If he knows he's going to win on the ground, oh, well, Jesus Christ, he's going to the ground. All right, so that's just the way it goes. So I don't see RDA going up as far up as he thinks he will. But nothing to knock on RDA. He's a great fighter. He's been around the game for a long time, so that experience right there can just show you where he can go. Felicia Spencer, she defeated Megan Anderson via rear naked choke. That was a great finish. Not the one that the fans expected that night, I'm sure. A lot of people saw Megan Anderson taking that one, but Felicia Spencer, she just took it right to her. I actually want to see Tatiana Suarez go against Megan Anderson. That would have been a great fight in my opinion. Aspen Ladd, she's still undefeated, which is really awesome, but it was sad to see Sajara Eubank take a loss. She has not had a great career since The Ultimate Fighter. A lot of missed weights, canceled fights, not very good. She was in the championship run, but yeah, it doesn't look like she'll be back anytime soon. Sage Northcott, he's talking again, he's walking again, and he is still breathing, thank God. A lot of you who don't know Sage Northcott, he went and fought in one championship fighting. It did not go the way that he expected, and not a lot of fans thought it would go that way as well. Cosmo Alexander took it to him with the first punch landed. It was an absolute devastating right hook. It fractured Sage's orbital bone and his cheekbone, and I think they said it was 18 rods or something like that to just put it all back in place. That is absolutely ridiculous. I want to see Sage just take a little while off, or possibly retire. I was listening to some words that Brendan Schaub was saying, and he mentioned, Sage, he's a university educated guy. He should take that degree and he should go with it for a little while. A loss like this, and especially with an injury like that, it's going to be hard to come back from. Yeah, you've seen guys have bone replacements in their forearms, and they still, had a nice comeback and a good run. Look at Anderson Silva. Actually, look at Anderson Silva. He just got taken out by Janin Cannonier with some strikes to the knee. That was pretty hardcore when you think about it. You look at Anderson Silva's past, he has not had a good run with that leg. So Look at it this way. Should Sage just take a little while off or possibly retire? I think so. He's got metal rods in the worst spot possible. He's going to get cut instantly every single fight. You just see it coming. You look at guys who have severe scar tissue. They get cut within mere seconds of just a simple jab. And that's real. That is absolutely real, and it exists. And that's just the way it goes. So Sage, come on, take some time off, please. Holy crap, it's scaring us. And again, about Anderson Silva, he said in an interview recently that he did not want to retire. What do you guys think? I think he's possibly one of the greatest fighters, if not the greatest fighter of all time, especially in the UFC's ranks. So there you go. I don't want him to tarnish his legacy anymore. It's like what Michael Bisping said. He's ruining everybody, alright? Not just himself, but Michael Bisping said it used to mean something when you used to beat Anderson Silva. Now, guys are just doing it left, right, and center for fun. And, it's not right. He's tarnishing his legacy a little bit there. I think he just needs to take some time, look at his career that he's got with acting, which is going pretty well for himself right now. So he should stay on that for a little while. He's going to retire soon as a Hall of Famer for sure. You look at Rashad Evans, Hall of Famer, Michael Bisping, Hall of Famer. Of course, Anderson Silva, it would be the next in line as soon as he retired. All right, we had Fight Night Stockholm. Oh my God, that was an insane night, I have to say. And the one fight that I just want to talk about above all, because I really want to get to 238, which is coming up only in a few days. This is being recorded. What's today's date? I don't even know. Today is Tuesday, June 4th at the time of this recording, so this might be up on wherever you listen to your podcasts before UFC 238. But Stockholm, that was good. I expected Anthony Smith to come away with that win. It was pretty clear cut going into that. Right now, Alexander Gustafsson, he has not had really strong morale as of late. You see just in the interviews that he gives, it just seems that if he does not keep on top, that he doesn't want to keep pushing, and I understand that, but I also don't from a perspective of, you look at guys who are almost in their mid-30s right now, who've been fighting in the UFC for 10 plus years, Glover Teixeira. In one case, he's absolutely a legend in the sport. He might not be championship caliber every single fight, and not a knock on Glover. That's just the way the division is. He might not be championship caliber every single fight, but he still goes out there and he loves what he does, and he comes back and he keeps continuing to entertain the fan. So that's just it. I think that Gustafsson hanging up the gloves, or saying that he's hanging up the gloves, is a little premature. He should just take a little while, just reassess what he's doing, maybe take a look at his training and make some changes. He is the mauler, and he hasn't looked like he has been for a little while. Anthony Smith, I want to see him rise up. Do I think he's going to be able to dethrone Jon Jones? No. Do I think somebody else might be able to do it in short time, to get Jon Jones out of that championship spot? I actually think Johnny Walker might be able to do that. And don't knock on me quite yet. Just say what you guys think if you're on YouTube down in the comments, or you can yell at whatever listening device that you've got on at the moment. I think Johnny Walker is going to be able to do it to him. He's entertaining. He's young. He might have just dislocated his shoulder, but all right, that's something he's going to be able to come back from, unless he keeps tearing it constantly and dislocating it during training, which could be a potential problem, because we've seen that happen in the past. Once you have a severe socket injury, it just constantly keeps getting worse and worse and worse over time. But if Johnny Walker can come back and he can be as 100%, and he can be the Johnny Walker that we've seen before, knocking guys out in 9 punches or less, we can expect Jon Jones to have the absolute most toughest competition to date. But in saying that, I do not see Anthony Smith getting up to that spot anytime soon. So let's just have to see where that goes from there. He's a fighter, he's a contender, and that's just the way it's going to go. So 238, that's coming up. Henry Cejudo, Marlon Moraes, that's the main event. That's the one that everybody's looking forward to. I'm looking forward to that as well. Henry Cejudo, love the guy, but right now I've got a gripe with the flyweights. There's been a flyweight crisis now for a little while. They're cutting him left, right, and center. Henry, come on, stay down to flyweight. Defend that championship. Get some pay-per-view buys for the flyweight division. You need to keep the division up. They've just released a bunch more fighters, and it's just going to get worse. And now you're moving up to just take the empty bantamweight. If you get that bantamweight strap, crap, you better go back down to flyweight at least, because the bantamweight division, that's going strong as it is. They've always got fighters there. And honestly, I think, you looked in the past and fighters moving up, even just the 10 pounds, and that makes a lot of difference there. I honestly believe Marlon Moraes is going to give it to him. It's not going to be an easy fight for Henry Cejudo. All right, he's took an out competition like Mighty Mouse, and that was probably the best Henry Cejudo fight to date. You even saw him wobbling in the first round because of that ankle. He was rotating it and rolling it really awkwardly while he was trying to move. But still, you see him come out with a decision win. So I honestly think Marlon Moraes is going to give him some absolute tough competition, because that's going to be one absolute barn burner. No official prediction right now. I'm not saying Marlon Moraes is going to 100% take it. I'm not saying Henry Cejudo is going to lose. I'm just saying this is going to be one insane matchup. Then we've got Valentina Shevchenko versus Jessica Eye. That's going to be another hard pick. They're both absolutely two hard hitters, but you see Valentina Shevchenko, she's not going to pull an Antonina. She's not going to just, pick her spots and then be patient. She's going to headhunt. She's going to go in for the kill, but that might cost her in the end. But we don't know, all right? We're just looking at that. And if you guys have watched Antonina Shevchenko versus Roxanne Modafferi, that was a pretty good match. But Roxanne Modafferi, she's an absolute legend in the women's pioneering MMA. So when you look at that, I can see why she was tough competition for somebody who was only who only had 9 fights on her professional career, which was Antonina Shevchenko. But the Shevchenko sisters, they train together, they fight similarly, but I think that Valentina can actually go in for that kill. But Jessica Eye is not as hard to put down as most would think. So I have no official prediction for that, but you'll notice that, Jessica Eye has shown in the past she can take the fight the distance and she can weather the storm, because she has a long string of decisions in her last amount of fights, and her last finish coming in 2014 against Leslie Smith. So if she can weather the storm like she did in the last few previous fights that she's taken the victory over via decision, then I think she'll be able to do it. And the last fight that I'm going to discuss here on this podcast is Tony Ferguson versus Donald Cerrone. Do I like this fight? Yes. Do I hate this fight at the same time? Yes, I absolutely do. Donald Cerrone, bad choice. Tony Ferguson's gonna pick you apart. He's a technical striker. He's gonna show you that, and he's had a little bit of time off. If he can actually take his, I think it was the LCL, he pulled his LCL or tore it. If he can actually have himself up 100% and not go in like Anderson Silva, he will actually come out with the win there, because Tony Ferguson's shown you before. He's an absolute warrior, and he won't be taken down very easily. He didn't even lose his belt. He lost it via injury. So when you think about it, he's still the real champion of that lightweight division. All right, so I'm just gonna wrap it up for today, and this has been the first ever episode of MMA NL Uncut, no bullshit. My name is Andrew Tobin. Thank you for listening. Should be up on Spotify, iTunes, wherever the fuck you listen to your podcast. You can catch us on YouTube first. I can't wait for UFC 238. There might be some updates before then, so just stay tuned. Thank you. Have a great day.